Yo, what's up, you guys? American Mexican Gunslinger Live. I got a video for you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Let me know down in the comments if you guys can hear my voice. You know what I mean? But today I got a rowdy video for you guys. I know usually I do my Bible videos, but you guys need to understand my position when it comes to um, the Second Amendment and firearms, you guys. And a lot of people, man, in today's world are so anti-gun, and sometimes the people that say they're not, they're really secretly are. So you got to be very wise and very careful with the things that you share in public and the things that you do around other people. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what their stance is when it comes to firearms, you guys. And the thing is that, a lot of people are leaning Republican, right, leaning towards firearms and stuff. And that the thing about that is the fact that, recently we had a bill stopped by Republicans, you guys. It was so we can have suppressors and short barreled rifles and shotguns, because of the NFA. And they stopped it, you guys. So it's like, when you get your leading chance on what political party you want to pick or whatever the heck, a lot of people, because it's the same bird, both sides, they're gonna deceive you, you guys. So it doesn't matter which side you choose, it's the same poison. So you have to be prepared when it comes to these things, because we want suppressors to be legal, you guys. We want them to be legal, but how can we make them legal when each side of the government doesn't want you to have it? They want to have these regulations. They want you to not pay your $200 tax stamp, but you still have to get your fingerprints, scanned and everything. So it's like, yeah, why? That's why, for me personally, I was gonna buy a suppressor, and when I went through the process, I kind of felt iffy about it, and ended up backing out. You guys, I ended up backing out of the whole process because the government literally has possession of your finger prints, God's prints. The print that God gave to you as a man, and we're basically handing that out to the government for whoever wants to, do, take charge of what people do. It's just about controlling people, you guys. It's always been about controlling the population. It's always been about controlling the people. It's never about safety, you guys. Yes, people can talk about it and say, yeah, let's have common gun safety, but it's never common sense, you guys. We would have a common car safety laws. You know what I'm saying? The same amount of people died each year in car crashes as the same as firearms, but with firearms is a little different because not a lot of people out there driving, are just suicidally driving to the wrong lane just to kill themselves. 20,000 individuals in 2022, they ended up, deleting themselves from the earth because of it. But that counts as gun violence, you guys. Suicide, I don't know, I'm supposed to say that on live, but they, but that counts as gun violence. So when we count car violence, are we, no, there's no such thing as a car violence category, is there? That's why they put these rough regulations against us people who own these tools, because it's about control. The government wants to control you, you guys. That's why when John F. Kennedy ended up getting assassinated, they ended up doing the Gun Control Act. You know what I'm saying? So it just even prohibited more of our rights away. The NFA, the Gun Control Act, the assault weapons ban, all these different types of bans, just because us as citizens, we want to be armed and protect ourselves, because we cannot count on the police all the time. We just can't. You know, even if if you live in a ghetto neighborhood, when, you know, Papa John in the corner dealing crack rock, and on the other corner, they're dealing, gambling and all these other illegal activities, and you're over here like, oh man, like I just seen Johnny down the block got robbed at gunpoint. So what am I gonna do? Are you just gonna fall a victim the whole time? This victim mentality of, oh, the cops are going to show up at the right time. You never know. This world is random. You never know when you're going to get robbed. You never know. You just never know these things, you guys. We just don't know these things. And these things can tragically happen at random. That's what we always have to be prepared for the worst. Why do you think police officers, they have firearms? Because they want to defend themselves from bad guys who also have firearms. But at the same time, the police are going to label us as bad guys as well, too, you guys. It's just the way it is. Police officers don't see the difference between a normal civilian and a bad guy. It's just the same common thing. A person can look like a civilian, but yet then be a criminal mastermind behind everything. So we have to be prepared with these things, you guys. And the fact that I'm doing this video is the fact that, people are, high supporters of Trump and stuff and the Republican Party, but they stopped a suppressor bill, you guys. I think it was called the Hush Act, but there's also the Hearing Protection Act too. So all these acts that we have, so we can legally go purchase a suppressor, literally down our freaking gun shop, and just go pick it up the same day and buy it and take it home without having this whole governmental process of dictating on what you can and cannot have. Like with AR pistols, for example, it kind of hits it in a gray area where you can have a pistol brace, a pistol stabilizer, but once you put a stock on it, it becomes an SBR. It does the same thing, the pistol, as an SBR, the same exact thing, except it's just cosmetically different for the shooter. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you add a stock on it, it becomes an SBR. You add a foregrip in front of a pistol AR-15, it becomes an SBR. So it's just like even putting a little plastic little freaking grip in front of your freaking, I don't know, your handguard of your 10-inch AR pistol, it becomes an SBR. So it's just like, this is crazy, you guys. It keeps going. Like basically, Mossberg came out with their Mossberg. I think it was the Aftershock. I don't know if you've seen that semi-automatic 12 gauge firearm, but like if you try to add a pistol brace on that, it becomes a short-barreled shotgun. Like you're adding a cosmetic feature on a firearm to help you shoot it better, yet then it's classified as an NFA item. You get what I'm saying? So it's like this whole tier list of firearms, which, tier 1, which is just like a regular civilian, pistol, rifle, shotgun, then there's tier 2, machine guns and short-barreled rifles and short-barreled shotguns and AOWs, and it just gets crazy. And then there's the tier 3, rockets, mini guns, and it just gets deeper in the rabbit hole when it comes to, the firearm industry, especially here in the United States, because we are big supporters of the Second Amendment. You know what I mean? There's a lot of gun YouTubers, they just have fun with their guns. They talk about laws and this and that, and then be like, oh yeah, it didn't pass because of this and because of that, and then they try to justify the reasons why these things don't go and play. We need to abolish the NFA. People keep saying abolish the ATF. Well, dude, if we abolish the NFA, the ATF has nothing to enforce the law upon. You know what I'm saying? So it makes them useless. And that's the thing. That is the thing that the government will never do. Trump's in office right now. What has he been doing but in empowering the wealthy people by giving them trillions of dollars to update their AI and manifest it to become better? You know, the government, is scared of short-barreled shotgun suppressors and all that, but yet then they have patents to control the weather. You know what I mean? And a lot of people be like, "This was a conspiracy, dude." Look it up. There's patents everywhere for this crap, and then we show you the results. We show you the paperwork, and you walk away, bro. So it's like, how are we supposed to not show ourselves like we're some kind of conspiracy theorists when we're trying to show you the truth? When it comes to firearms in this country, it's so twisted, you guys. It's so twisted. I can have a 20-inch AR-15, but once I cut off 10 inches of it, it becomes an SBR, a short-barreled rifle. Like, a 20-inch barrel has more power than a shorter barrel. Let's just put it at that. More velocity. You know what I mean? But yet then the government's like, oh, we can't have you to have these little short things because, it's easy to conceal. You know what I mean? And they don't want you that, even though they have, 11.5-inch AR-15s with suppressors and giggle switches on them. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy the times we're living in. And me personally, I moved to Missouri thinking that these people were going to be, how you say, pro-gun. Dude, sadly to say, this state is like low-key FUD, guys. These are low-key FUDs. I'm sorry to say, if you live here in Kansas City, Missouri, I'm sorry to say, but this state is low-key FUDdery, you guys. There's so many things that I can keep talking about when it comes to firearms, but this is one of the biggest topics because I want to have anything I want. Our founding fathers gave us these rights, but the people that are in charge, they know what they're doing, you guys. Once they get rid of all the firearms and everyone is disarmed, imagine how the government's going to treat you. Look how they treat us, and we have our tools. Imagine when they take them away. Imagine how bad they're going to treat you then. Persecution, when everyone says persecution is around the corner, guys. It's different when there's highly trained soldiers trying to chase you around just because of your religion, of your belief, and trying to take you out the game. And they have all the advanced technology. They have UAVs. They have now drones. They have so many things that we possibly can't imagine nowadays because they only show us a preview, only show us a little bit, just to be like, oh, okay, cool. But really underground, they're fulfilling everything, bro. Everything. And it's just going to get bad. It's just going to get worse. That's why I like to tell you guys to please prepare yourselves with firearms. The government likes to use their favorite cartridge, the 9mm, because, it's so cheap. It's just a very cheap round, and that's why the government loves it. 5.56, it's relatively cheap as well, but there's so many calibers that you can use to defend yourself. Even 22, man. A lot of people be talking crap on 22. No one wants to get shot with the deuce. And if you want to stand in front of a 22, go on right ahead, man. You probably gonna end up in the hospital or 6 feet underground. But yeah, you guys, there's so much things that I want to talk about when it comes to this because we want to own everything. Like the FRTs, they were trying to ban those, the ATF. They're trying to, say they're machine guns when they're just force reset triggers. If you don't know what FRT stands for, but it just makes your gun go a lot more faster. But yeah, you guys, there's so much bullcrap happening in this world, and the government just tries to deceive us one way or another. But I want you guys to understand that me as American Mexican Gunslinger, I'm going to keep doing these videos for you guys. I'm going to keep doing gun content as much as I can, as much as YouTube lets me. You know what I mean? Because nowadays it's like, damn, like we can't even talk about one firearm or show off a firearm without having a strike or a regulation or some kind of rule to stop you from doing so. You know, it's all about regulations and rules, and it's all about governmenting and making sure that the people are in control, because the government knows best and because the people don't know anything besides just wipe their ass. And that's what the government believes that you are, just a little bit of a peasant, something to just get a napkin, wipe it, and throw it away, you know, just like a baby wipe. That's what the government sees us as, a bad parasitic organism that is spreading out because we are trying to tell you guys the truth, and they don't like that. So that is my rant for today, you guys. You know, stay armed, stay dangerous, stay vigilant. Even if the government's telling you you can't have it, bro. You know what I mean? If you're already behind bars and you're a felon or whatever the heck, bro, what does it matter to you, bro? You know what I'm saying? That's what the government is, bro. They want to regulate and make all these laws, but yet then when the people break the laws like criminals, they don't put them in jail. You know, that doesn't make sense. But someone who hasn't been breaking the law, oh, we want to put you in jail forever. You see that? You see that? Government for you. Such good people, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm American Mexican Gunslinger. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Let me know down in the comments stuff that I missed. And I'm out. More gun content coming up, you guys. Stay tuned to be patient, be vigilant, stay armed, stay dangerous. Peace.